Is you ready, my brother? Step up to this mic and let's get it.
Make some noise for Domes, y'all. Make some noise.
Hey everybody, my name's not Doms. It's Domes. What is it? Domes Gage is dope, but like.
That boy is good.
What's up, y'all? Or do I usually say, what's up, guys? Whatever. What's up, guys? Domes Gage here, and we're back. Back for another episode of Off the Dome with Domes Gage, episode 21. We're back. I told you guys I would be back. Last week, I said I'll be back next week. I promise. I know I've been slacking, and I took a little month off before recording, last week's episode. But I did say I'll be back this week, and here I am, back this week. So, hope you guys are happy that the podcast is back and not taking hiatuses and whatnot. But yeah, if you guys are tuning in, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos, and just to subscribe and to stay updated on when I drop stuff, the podcast and music and all that. The subscribers have been going up a little bit, and that's nice to see. So yeah, hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Or if you're watching on iTunes or listening on iTunes, rate and review. Or Apple, not iTunes. I don't know, guys. Whatever. Off to a rough start. My head's a little discombobulated. It is Monday morning, and I'm recording this episode so I can get it out today on Monday. I was going to record it last night, but KON came over, and we ended up just getting into some real-life conversations, as we tend to do. So... yeah, I was like, hey, when I need to record the podcast. He's like, oh, I'm only come over for a little bit. Was here for 5 hours. Anyway, yeah, it was good seeing KON. Haven't seen him probably since we recorded the fucking podcast he was on, honestly. So, good to see him. And good to be back. Yeah, didn't record the episode yesterday. Recording it today, Monday morning, because I can't let another week go by where I don't do these episodes. I made a commitment to myself, and I doubled down on that commitment last week where I was like, no, I promise I'm going to be back. Then I was like, how fucked up would it be if I promise I'm going to be back next week, and then I'm just not back next week? It's fucked up. Anyway. Like I said, Buck was fucking punking me, dog. Buck was flexing on me, said, you better record the fucking podcast, you're going to let your fans down. And I said, you're right, Buck. You're right. I'm sorry, Buck. I don't want no problems. I don't want no smoke. So yeah, there's not like too much to talk about in this episode, but I got a couple little things on my notes, and, we'll get to it, I suppose. We'll get to it. Episode 21 of Off the Dome with Domes Gage. That's me, as you guys know, because you're watching or listening to this podcast. So yeah. This past week, I'm trying to think where I should start. Yeah, didn't do anything like too crazy. I guess we'll start with the new video I dropped. Because last week I was on the podcast episode and I was talking about how I have another video that was going to be coming out soon. And I was keeping it a secret. I knew I was going to drop it on Valentine's Day, but I was keeping it a secret. And so yeah. I released a new video, a new, rap verse freestyle, produced by me. It's called Kiss Goodbye. Me and Ryan shot the video for the Mickey Mantle freestyle and the video for this Kiss Goodbye freestyle. We shot those like back to back. It was like one day after the next. We just went out like 2 nights, shot a bunch of footage, and we did the Mickey Mantle video that you guys saw last month, and we shot the footage for this Kiss Goodbye video, and I sat on it for a little bit. I wanted Mickey Mantle to kind of not run its course, but, you know, get its just due, let people hear it, give it some time to resonate or whatever. And so I held back on releasing this one, but then I was like, oh, Valentine's is coming up. The song's called Kiss Goodbye. I guess I could put it out then, you know, just off the title alone. It's not really like a Valentine's-y song that much, but, you know, the title Kiss Goodbye or whatever. And for some reason, I tend to drop shit on Valentine's Day. Last year, I put out the Run It Into the Ground song and music video on Valentine's Day. And then the year before that, I did the Angel with the Golden Harp song on Valentine's Day. So I don't know. I tend to release music on Valentine's Day. And so yeah, going back to the Kiss Goodbye video, I sat on it for a little bit and released it on Valentine's. Like I woke up, I planned to release it on Valentine's Day, but then I was kind of like almost straying away from it. Like maybe I'll wait a little bit. Like I said, it's not the most like Valentine's-y song in the world. Like lovey, whatever you want to call it. So I was almost gonna like fall back and maybe wait another week. And I just saw hella people dropping music on Valentine's Day. I was like, damn, this person dropped. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna drop this video. I had it ready. It was sitting, you know, ready to go. So I was like, let's drop it. So shout out to everybody that's been showing love on the Kiss Goodbye freestyle video so far. I did send it to all the streaming platforms. So Spotify, Apple Music, all that should be coming within the next couple days. Maybe even by the time you watch this podcast, it's up. So make sure to go stream Kiss Goodbye Freestyle, stream Mickey Mantle Freestyle, and stream the new EP, Shot in the Dark. So, yes. There's more I wanted to talk about with Kiss Goodbye, and I'm trying to think what the fuck I was going to talk about. Oh, yeah, I started to see all these people, like, drop music on, I saw a lot of people, like, dropping music on Valentine's Day, and it was all, like, kind of, like, you know, sad stuff, like heartbreak stuff or love, I guess not sad, it was either, like, love songs or heartbreak songs, and I was like, damn, I have a lot of that shit that's just, like, sitting in the archives unfinished that I probably could have, you know, picked a song out, finished it, and released it on Valentine's, but I kind of slacked. Wasn't really thinking about it. You know, I'm trying to think about the next album, the next project that I'm working on, or EP, or whatever it's going to be, the next project I'm working on. So I kind of like just didn't really think about, you know, trying to pull out a love song for for Valentine's. But I was going to say Run It Into the Ground. No, Run It Into the Ground is kind of more like in that vibe, relationship-y stuff. But yeah, and then Angel with the Golden Harp is totally like there's like hearts all over the cover and shit. So, but yeah, been sitting on the Kiss Goodbye video for a little bit now, and it was dope to release that. I appreciate all the feedback on it so far. That's another one. Like I said, I was talking about it in the last episode, but there was, you know, a few episodes ago where I was talking about, like I needed to be finishing the EP, and instead of finishing the EP, I decided to make 2 new songs, you know, and those 2 songs were Mickey Mantle Freestyle and Kiss Goodbye Freestyle. And both of those songs, I made those in like 2 days. So it was like, sometimes I can work really fast and get something done in a day, and then sometimes it takes me, you know, months to fucking finish something. And so Kiss Goodbye I actually made first. Mickey Mantle Freestyle was the second day. And both of these songs are something that I've talked about on previous episodes where I just go in completely blank. Like I have no type of lyrics written down. I have no type of like idea of what I want to talk about. I make these beats and then I put on the beat and I'm listening to the beat. And then if I can like freestyle and come up with one line, or if I could come up with an idea for like a rhyme pattern or something, then that's my starting point. That's where I jump into the song, where I'm like, I didn't write any of this verse down, but I'm freestyling and trying to come up with melodies and rhyme patterns and things like that. So with Kiss Goodbye, that's at the start of the song. I almost wanted to play it, but I don't know how to do that right now. So at the start of the song, you hear me, which is probably hard to like make out exactly what I'm saying, but I'm like, I say something along the lines of, I don't know if this is how I'm going to start it, but that's how we're going to rock it, or some shit like that. And basically, I came up with the first line of the song. I've seen dark days. I've seen gruesome things. I've seen people turn to angels and they grew some wings. I came up with that line just like freestyling to the beat. And so I'm like, listening to the beat, nodding my head, just trying to like mumble a little bit to come up with different patterns and whatever. And I came with the pattern of gruesome things, seen people turn to angels and they grew some wings. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just put that down. That's our starting point right now. And I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be the first bar of the song. This might be 8 bars in. I might have to come up with some more shit to start the verse. Like I wasn't really sure, but I liked how those 2 lines were coming out. So I was like, let me just record this right now. And so literally that's the first take of me recording that line. And that's why I kept it, because you hear me with that intro say, I don't know if this is how I'm going to start it, but that's just how we're going to rock it right quick. And that's literally the very first take, like me pulling up the beat. I'm like, coming up with ideas. And then I'm like, ooh, that's where I'm starting with it. Press record. I don't know if this is where I'm going to start, but that's how we're doing it. Boom. I've seen dark days. I've seen gruesome things. I've seen people turn to angels and they grew some wings. And I'm like, all right, cool. Take. Then punch in until the verse is done. And it was literally like, that's such a cool like process that I really only started doing within the last like year or so, of just going in completely blank, no type of verse written or ideas, and just literally like piece it together on the fly. Like I use the recording process as my writing process these days. And it's like, so it's the same thing. Like if I was writing that verse, I would have came up with those 2 lines, and then I would have kept writing the verse. And then I would have kept writing it and kept writing it. And then by the time I would have finished writing it, I would have been burnt out on it and I wouldn't have wanted to sit down and record it. So bypassing all that, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going to sit down and record right now, because the more that I sit here, and that was my biggest pet peeve working on my first album and shit. Or I don't know, pet peeve, but it was my biggest, like, it was super annoying when I would be sitting on these songs for months. And then it was like the last couple like months of finishing the album process, and I'm trying to record these songs that I wrote months prior, and the vibe's just not there. It's a different energy. Your voice is like, is not the same tone. It's not the same as like that organic first go, I've said it before. It's like when someone says a joke and then they try and retell it like on a camera, it's just not as funny the second time around. And so that's how I feel with the music, is I'm just like, I'm spending too much time like writing these verses, and so yeah, spending too much time writing the verses, and then by the time I go to record them, I'm like, this isn't how it was when I was writing it. And then that fucks me up. That throws off my whole vibe. I don't even want to finish the song, because I'm like, this isn't how it was when I was working on it, So yeah, I just really been trying to be more creative and be more productive. And this, I think, has helped me be more productive, because like I said, I go in sort of blank, and it doesn't always work all the time. That's also something I wanted to talk about in this episode, is that this process doesn't always work for me all the time. I try it as much as I can, but sometimes I do get stuck. Even the Mickey Mantle freestyle, I think I got halfway through the verse and then had to like kind of take a break because I got stuck on something. And I was like, all right, I got half of it done. I'll come back and finish it, you know? But even having that half recorded was so much better than just having the half written down and that I still need to record it all. It's like, it's more like motivational. It feels like I'm doing more when I'm just recording fresh out of, you know, listening to the song or listening to the beat or whatever. So, yeah, it doesn't always work like that, but fortunately for this Kiss Goodbye freestyle, knocked it out in a day, and I was hyped on it. I was really hyped on it. It's a really dope verse, so dope that I actually contemplated keeping it for my next project. Like not releasing it until my next project comes out. But I want to stay consistent. I want to stay, you know, dropping content for you guys. And so I decided to put it out. But if it ends up on the next project, you know, don't be mad, guys. Don't be mad. It is short. It's just like a little 16-bar verse. Even when I did that, like I was, you know, I did the little 16 and I was like, should I make this a whole song? Should I like try and do a hook, maybe another verse? Like just thinking about it. And then I was like, I don't know. I kind of just like it as the 16. I like it as one verse, a little short freestyle. And like I've said before, I want to keep doing stuff like that. Just kind of displaying the rap skill. And because, you know, the music I make isn't always necessarily like the most complex rap verse on every song. I mean, I do pride myself on the lyrical ability still. Like there's no song you'll hear from me that doesn't have some sort of lyrical element, but I know some stuff is more melodic, more singing and you know, stuff like that. So when I get a chance to just like go off, you know, do my little freestyle thing, I got to show out, and I know people like that. People have been showing a lot of love on them. So I plan to keep doing stuff like that. Let me know what you guys like. Do you guys like the freestyles? Do you guys like the songs? Do you guys like both? Do you like when I mix it up, you know, so it doesn't get too stagnant or too repetitive? That's me. Like I can't make the same song over and over and over. Like I'll get so fucking bored doing it. And like the same sounds and all that, like I have to switch it up. I have to change tempos and I have to change flows and melodies. It's like, you know, I have a lot of fun creating music. And if I was making the same song over and over, that shit would get so redundant and it would get just tiring and I would not like it. So I can't do one thing all the time, I suppose. So hopefully you guys like the mix, the blend, because that's how I like music. I like being able to hear something from a dude and be like, oh, it's like a cool sound, and then hearing another song from him and be like, whoa, it's a whole different sound, and it's fucking good. He's good at both. Like, you know, I look at somebody like Drake, who's like very versatile, very like has a lot of different sounds that he touches. There's a lot of artists like that just don't stick to one box, and I think that's what I pride myself on, not being too confined to a certain sound or style. So yeah, Kiss Goodbye Freestyle is out now. Trying to think what else I had to say about the Kiss Goodbye Freestyle. I did that all in a day. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to touch on with that one. Like I said, it should be on all the streaming platforms soon. Spotify, Apple, all that should be there. And gruesome things. But yeah, it was just like, just play the beat and go, man. Like record, punch in, and a lot of people do that technique these days. You know, a lot of these artists, I've seen so many, like, that's actually what inspired me to do it. Is I was watching a studio session where I was like, oh damn, these fools, like, they're playing the beat and they're mumbling a melody, and then like that like mumble turns into a sentence, and then they say the sentence like 4 times, and then they pick the best one and just punch and like do that for a whole verse. And I was like, oh, it's kind of like, it's like piecing together a puzzle, you know? And it's kind of cool. Or the way I like to think of it, I was thinking about this. I used to do, you know, graffiti. I used to paint and all that good stuff. So when you paint graffiti, or I'm pretty sure it's the same, like if you're drawing or a sketch, but I'm going to relate it to me painting graffiti. When you do it, you start with this sketch outline, this super sketch outline. There's lines everywhere, and it's just you're building the base of what the piece is going to be. And then after you build the base, you start to fill in the colors. And you figure out your color schemes, whatever, you're filling out the colors, filling out that outline that you made, the rough outline. And then after you fill in the colors, you have your final outline, which is the details. That's where you're making it more of you're turning it from a sketch into an actual piece. Is you had this rough outline, you filled it with colors, and now you're doing the final outline. And then there's even on like graffiti, there's all the extra details, you know, the 3Ds and the bubbles and the stuff like that. But that's just like the seasoning on top, you know, that's the cherry on top right there, is all the outlines and the bubbles and the colors and things like that. So so that's how I looked at it, is I was like, oh, I'm recording this verse, or I'm sitting down to record a verse, and I'm playing the beat over and over in my head and in my headphones, and I'm literally here with the mic, just like I'm recording this podcast, and I'm like, and I'll just mumble until like I'll come up with a pattern, or like eventually those mumbles kind of turn into words. Like I'll start to say like syllables, and I'll be like, oh, that kind of sounds like I'm saying this word. And there's so many times that I'll have a mumble melody that I can almost hear the words that are being said. And I'm like, like I didn't try and say that, but that's just like how it fucking mumbled out. I don't know. But yeah, it's very much the same thing as like those mumbles are the rough outline. So I'm coming up with all this like the base for it, you know, this foundation, this outline, melodies, but there's no words to it yet. And then the more that I come with the words to it, that's all the colors of the graffiti. You know what I mean? That's me filling in the colors, doing all, you know, the little details, whatever. And then me laying down that verse. So I'm taking this mumble melody, I'm putting words to it and filling out those mumble melodies, or filling out those rhyme patterns. And that's, you know, me filling out the graffiti piece, and then me actually laying these words down in a proper fashion, making sure they're solid, and I'm actually recording them, you know, in a take that I like, and I'm not just like, because sometimes I'll record takes that's like, I'm only doing this as a placeholder. Like, I'm going to record these little 4 bars, but I know I'm going to have to re-record it later because it's not the best recording of it or whatever. And so yeah, me like recording the lines and making sure they're polished, that's the final outline of the graffiti piece, you know? And then mixing and the reverbs and all that extra shit, that is all the seasoning on the top. So I don't know why, like I was like thinking of how I was doing the music, and I was like, oh yeah, it kind of reminds me a lot of the way I used to paint graffiti. And also like correlating those two, I remember back in the day when I was like painting hella tough, I started kicking it with some older fools who were like way better, way more experienced in the shit. And I always used to take my notebook, and I would have these sketches in there, like my graffiti sketches in the notebook. And I would try and take that sketch and put it on the wall. And every time I would put it on the wall, I would say, it just doesn't look the same as the sketch. the sketch looks so good, but when I put it on the wall, something's different. Something's just, it's not right. It's not the same. And one of the older homies was like, stop trying to recreate the sketch. He's like, the way that he's like looking at the sketch to try and recreate it, it's never going to work. It's never going to look the same. He's like, what you need to do is get so good at that sketch that every time you go to the wall, it's just like you're sketching. So you're doing the same sketch in your notebook that you wanted to do, but you're so comfortable with that sketch that you're already putting it on the wall. There's no looking at the thing to try and recreate it. And that's the same thing as me writing a verse and then a month later going in the studio and trying to record that verse. I'm like, this just isn't the same. Something's wrong. It's not the same as the sketch, you know? And so I took the same thing. I was like, all right, it's not about the sketch and how good you can recreate the sketch. It's about being so comfortable with that process that like I'm just putting on the mic and fucking recording. Like I'm just going to the wall and doing the piece. Like there's no type of sketch process. And or the sketch process is all on the wall. There's no looking at the notebook trying to do the same thing on the wall. And that's the same shit with the music. I can't write a verse then a month later have that same energy, that same feeling, the same tone. Like it's hard, very hard to recreate. And I think I was talking about that a little bit in the last episode, that the next project I had planned to do has a lot of unfinished songs that I've been working on for a long time, like some stuff that's, 2 years old at this point. And it's hard because they're unfinished. Like I said, it's hard for me to go back and try and finish them. Like there's songs, just the same thing, that have verses written that I need to record. And I almost like dread that a little bit. I'm almost like, fuck, I have to like record this shit. Like I should have done that when I wrote it, when I came up with it, And just that extra layer of pressure, I guess, of like, so now I have to go back to a song that I was working on 2 years ago and record this verse and hope it's the same energy, the same feeling, the same. And I don't resonate with a lot of the songs that I write 2 years ago. I'm not necessarily in the same place. It's like, it's hard to do that for me. So that's why, moving forward, I've really just been like, I'm just going to do everything on the fly. Like I can't waste too much time writing these songs, because then I just feel like I'm wasting time. I write these songs, and then I don't record them, and then that song doesn't exist. Like, sure, it's written, but if it's not recorded and I can't listen to it, it doesn't exist. So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. Just like having that product to listen to immediately is so much more why am I blanking out on the word? It feels so much better. You know what I mean? It's so much more satisfying. There you go. It's so much more satisfying to be able to hear, the song as you're working on it, right as you're doing it, instead of like, at least to me, everybody has their own process, I know people probably like, I can't do that. I have to write the verse before I record it. And that's awesome. There's still times where I do that, but I just find it's more efficient for me to do it on the fly. And that's kind of how I've been doing music lately. Like most of the EP stuff is like that. Mickey Mantle is like that. Kiss Goodbye is like that. Yeah, I don't know, Buck. It's early and I'm drinking coffee, guys, so I'm wired up. I'm talking real fast. Talking real fast. So yeah, I guess we'll move on from the Kiss Goodbye video for now. But yeah, make sure to go watch it if you haven't seen it already, and go listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music. Still trying to get those Spotify numbers up, and I'll tell you what, it's looking good so far. I made that post at the end of last year with the Spotify wrap-up 2019 numbers, and I was like, we're doubling this next year. At a minimum, we're doubling this. And I'd say we're well on our way to that goal. So keep running up those streams on Spotify, guys. or Apple, wherever you want to do it. But I don't think there is like an Apple wrap up. I don't think there is. Everyone was just posting Spotify numbers, so that's why we're going hard for Spotify. But they both pay me like equally shitty. I was trying to think of a more diplomatic way to say that, a better way to say that, you know, more appropriate. But these streaming services don't pay you shit, guys, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't think either one of them really pays you more. So, but I digress. domesgauge.com/shop for the merch. Been a while since I did one of those, huh? Actually, I got to get some more merch, so some of the sizes might be sold out. I can't promise, but I'm looking into that. So, okay, something else I wanted to talk about was this reoccurring? What the fuck? Why am I saying that word? Is it recurring? Recurring. I always thought it was like reoccurring. Is it reoccurring or recurring? While they are very close, meaning they are not the same. Something that is recurring happens over and over again, possibly. In contrast, something that is reoccurring is simply happening again. But what the fuck? Y'all are confused. English, why do you have to be so damn confusing? Just make it one word. They're two words. They literally mean like almost the same thing. It's some bullshit. Making me look stupid on my podcast. I dropped out in 8th grade, guys. I don't have much of a fucking school education. But I turned out okay, I think. Clearly not. If I don't know the difference between recurring and reoccurring. Why is that two different words? It's so fucking stupid. But yes, I was like, why did I even bring that up? The artwork that I've been doing for all of my singles, even the EP had the same artwork. This is my artwork direction from here on out. And it started with Run It Into the Ground. Actually, it didn't start with that. It started with the idea of me. I wanted something, a consistent artwork, a consistent look, when I started releasing music. So I was like figuring out how I could kind of do that. And I was like, oh, I could like draw it. You know, I could do these little like sketches where it's like not the most polished shit in the world. It's not the craziest graphic, but it's just this little like sketch, this little, you know, is art. And I started this because I was like planning on dropping a lot of singles, which ended up just turning into the EP. But I was going to drop a ton of singles, and it was those 8 songs from the EP. So I was like, oh, I need a cover art for every one of those songs. And so I started doing it. And the way I'm doing it is super, I don't even know if I want to give away my tactic, but it's not that crazy. But I'm hand drawing everything on the whiteboard in my room, and then I'll take a picture of the whiteboard, and then I put it on the computer, and I, you know, filter it and edit it into looking like it's was drawn on the computer. But yeah, it's all like hand drawn little artwork that I thought was just a really cool idea of you know, art is subjective, and these aren't the most, like I said this before with my music, where I'm like, oh, it's not the most like polished product yet. Like it's gonna be, but right now it's just we're doing what we can with it. And with the artwork, I feel like it almost represents that. Like, no, this is my piece of art. Take it for what it is. Sure, it's a little rough, it's a little sketchy, you know, they're not the greatest drawings in the world, whatever, but art is subjective, you know what I mean? And I just love that like concept of having something that is consistent, you know what I mean? Having a consistent artwork. And so I was gonna put out all those songs as singles, but I had Run It Into the Ground coming out first. And Run It Into the Ground I had a different cover for, like something I made in like Photoshop with, you know, stock photos and shit. So I had something else for Run It Into the Ground. And then as I was getting ready to release it, I already had this artwork style in mind. I'd already been working on the stuff for the EP. And I was like, let me do a different cover for Run It Into the Ground. So that's why Run It Into the Ground is the first like art sketchy cover like that. And I almost gave it away when I was talking about the album. Or when I was talking about the EP, I was like, oh, I got like a little artwork direction for it. But I don't want to give it away because I could have just been like, it's the same style as Run Into the Ground's artwork because that's my artwork style. So you won't see anybody else with artwork like that because unless they completely steal it from me. But even if they stole it from me, it wouldn't look the same because I'm hand drawing this fucking shit. Except I cheated for Kiss Goodbye, I'm not gonna lie. I tried so hard to draw like lips kissing and I could not fucking do it. It's hard to draw on a whiteboard, first of all, but like trying to fucking, it just did not work. So I used a little like fucking image. Whatever, not trying to give away my sauce here. I cheated on the Kiss Goodbye cover. But everything else, hand drawn. Everything else was hand drawn. So, yeah, I just really like having something consistent all of from here on out until further notice. I don't know when I'll change this. I don't know. I have no clue. But from here on out, until further notice, that's my artwork. That little sketchy, like, doodle artwork. It's almost like fucking, what's the game where you gotta, like, guess, like, what the person's drawing? I forgot. I played it with my family at a Christmas one time. And you had to like draw, like sketch something and they had to like guess what it is. I don't know, whatever. But that's kind of what I thought. So I was like, oh yeah, maybe this doesn't look like a fucking treasure map for Run It Into the Ground, but it is. Maybe this doesn't look like I don't know. I'm trying to think what the other shit was. Money on Fire or whatever. But yeah. Something like that, because before all my covers were like, except for my first album, everything was like stock photos and shit that like I didn't own. I'm just downloading shit from Google and filtering it and doing stuff like that. And that's cool, but it just doesn't feel, it doesn't feel like mine. You know what I mean? It feels like when I'm rapping on these other people's songs and shit, I just can't like, I feel better about it, more satisfying when I'm like, I created everything about this. I did the beat, I did the vocals, I recorded the vocals, I mixed and mastered the vocals, I fucking drew the artwork for it, I fucking did the video for it, edited the video. Like, it's just, it's more satisfying, I guess, when you know that you're responsible for it. And, so yeah, shout out to anybody that's noticed that there's a consistency with the artwork going on, because I did one for the Mickey Mantle freestyle with the baseball bat. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I can draw like a bat and a ball on the whiteboard, and I pulled it off. I'm not the greatest like artist when it comes to just like drawing things. Like I said earlier, I used to do graffiti and that's what I was good at. I could do letters really well, but if we're talking about just like actually drawing stuff, not the best at it. But I think that's what makes this artwork what it is like I said, it's subjective. Who's to say it's good? Who's to say it's bad? A lot of art is people look at it and they're like, what the fuck? That's art? So it's not the most fucking photoshopped, high quality, high budget artwork, but it's super DIY, do it yourself. It's super yeah, I don't know. It's just super DIY, and I really like the consistency of it. The fact that there's gonna be a cover like that for every song, I'll be able to switch them up a little bit, switch the colors or whatever. So, like, I think Run It Into the Ground was blue. Shot in the Dark, I didn't want to do any color for, because I was like, it's kind of like a darker little project and shit. I was like, I want to go like gray. I was like gonna do like black and white or gray or something. So I went gray on Shot in the Dark. I think Mickey Mantle is white, and I tried other colors, but for some reason I like play the song while I'm flipping through the colors, and I'm like, what color is gonna fit with this, you know? And I flipped through a bunch of colors, couldn't figure something out. So I just went like black and white, and then Kiss Goodbye is the opposite. It's like white border with black background and shit, or white letters with black. And that's the first time I've done something like that. So anyway, don't know why I'm getting that into detail about the artwork process. Just I guess a little behind the scenes look into how I've been making these covers. Yeah, so single artwork. It's my piece of art, man. That's what I put up in the gallery. That's my Pam Beasley. It's like my Dunder Mifflin picture. No, since running into the ground video. So yeah, Valentine's Day. Hope everyone had a good Valentine's Day or not. I don't fucking know. I did. Well, I do if you have like, if you're in a relationship and stuff. If not, then, I dig you. I feel you. But yeah, 1 year ago, I noticed that, got the notification on Facebook. 1 year ago, you released the Run It Into the Ground music video. And that's super cool. It's crazy to think like time's flying that fucking fast. It's already been a year since I did that one. It's already been 2 years since the Angel with the Golden Harp video. And don't be surprised, guys, if some of these old songs pop up in the future. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I kind of hate it when artists do that sometimes, but if the song's like too played out, but don't be surprised if that happens. Like I said, I might put Kiss Goodbye on the next project. I don't know. Run Into the Ground, when I first made it, I was like, that's on the next album. And then I put out the song as a single, and I was like, oh yeah, the album might not be done for a little bit. Maybe that was maybe I shouldn't have put it out yet, or I don't know. But so that song has been out for a year, and that was definitely like the direction I was kind of taking for the next project, or for a project. Like I don't want to call it the next one because I don't really know what the next project is right now. I had a plan of what I thought it was going to be. Like I said, it's kind of some older music, and I don't know if I'll get to finish it in the time that I want to, like by the time I want to release another project, because it's soon. So I might just start from scratch, do another EP, and then bring back the album either later in the year, or I don't know. I'm figuring it out, guys, but I'm not stopping. There's a lot of music we're working on, and a lot of shit is I'm just trying to stay consistent, drop a lot of stuff. And that's why I think doing these freestyles is so beneficial, because I don't have to stress out on them too much. It's, a verse with a solid, make a beat, write the verse or record the verse, shoot the video and put it out. I don't have to be like, oh, this is the hook's perfect, or it's recorded perfect, or the master, the mix and the master is like the best it can be. Like with these freestyles, I'm kind of just I am still making sure they're, as good as they can be, but it's less stress, where I'm like not having to do as much on just a rap verse compared to something where I'm singing the chorus or whatever. And so I plan to do some more freestyle stuff. Definitely plan to give you guys another project or two this year. Even if they're short. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Because I've kind of been slacking, honestly, as far as like recording goes. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but I feel like I've been like fucking slightly getting sick. Like I feel like I'm slightly getting sick, and then I'll fight it, and I'll be okay for a day or two, and then I'll feel like it again. And so it's been like a month that I'm just kind of like fighting off feeling like I'm gonna get sick, and I've been real like scratchy or stuffy, or just like not really in the best place to record vocals. So that's been kind of bumming me out, especially because, like I said, I have plans of what I want to do next, and things that I need to get finished. And if I don't have a usable voice, it's kind of hard to do. But I am starting to feel better, so I got to stop making excuses. Stop making excuses and get back to work, get back to recording stuff. But I have been slacking on recording. That doesn't mean I've been slacking on the music. I've made so many beats in the last month, probably 50 beats. I made so much shit. I just hit this creative fucking space. I was watching some YouTube producers and shit like that, and I was it just hyped me up to want to delve into the producer side of it and kind of put the lyrics on hold for a second and just really focus in on that beat making side. Because that's why I started making beats in the first place. I started making beats. Well, that's a lie. I started making beats when I was really young just because I liked music. But I stopped making them for a while. And then it came to a point where I was, rapping on all these industry beats that I was man, I need my own beats. And nobody's giving them to me. I was young. So I'm I definitely ain't buying beats from people and shit. So I had nobody producing beats for me. And no money to buy them, so I'm I better learn how to do this shit myself, I better get on this beat making tip. And it started rough. A lot of the early shit I made, I did not want to rap on. I was this shit sucks. Couldn't rap on it. One of the first beats I ever rapped on was so bad. But yeah, it was real bad. But I've been making a ton of beats, just I felt I hit a stride somewhere in the last year or so, last 2 years, where I was I'm actually feeling I'm getting better at this. Before it used to be I'm just making something so I can rap on it. I don't have a beat, so let me just make it good enough to where I can rap on it. And now I actually feel I got hard ass beats. I actually feel I leveled up a little bit and the beats I'm making are actually really good. So, or getting good. So. I've been making a ton of them, guys. I have, and that's that's kind of how these songs come about. Is I make hundreds of beats and then I sit on them for a while, forget I made them, then I'll go back in and start pulling up old beats and be "Ooh, this shit's hard. This is the one." Turn on the mic, turn on this fucking Logic, and just start recording. So I think that's a good. I'm setting myself up to be making a lot of songs by making all these beats and shit. Yeah, so I've been making a lot of beats, still working on music, some hard shit, some really dope beats that I'm excited to make something to. And I have toyed with some ideas, some little melodies for hooks and stuff. So I am working on stuff. I just haven't really finished much in the last month, and it's kind of it weighs on me. I've talked about it on this podcast that when I'm not being productive, it stresses me out, This is and then when I am productive, it makes me so happy. It's so much more it's a crazy difference and shit. Last week, after not doing the podcast for a month and just being down on myself, fuck, I'm fucking up, I'm slacking so hard. And recording that episode and getting it out had me so hyped. I was fuck yeah, we're back at it. You know what I mean? We got to do it next week. We can't let the people down. So it just hyped me up. And then releasing music always hypes me up to want to release something else, So, yeah. So new stuff is coming. I've been making a lot of beats, man. And it's really starting to make me think that that I want to work with other people. I would love to produce something for somebody else, I don't have many rapper homies and shit, but I would love to make beats for another artist or together. If we were doing stuff together, but yeah, I would love. I have stuff that I make that isn't necessarily for me. I make beats that I'm oh, I don't really hear me on this, but I like the sound of the beat. So I just started to think of course, this rap shit is the main objective, right? Is being the rapper. But if I could get a placement making a beat for somebody, why not? You know what I mean? Why not use that tool to get in the door? Make some beats for some people, and then then they'll hear one of my rap songs and be like, oh, damn, that fool raps too? Oh, shit, he's actually really dope. Oh, damn, I thought he was just a producer. Like, you know? So I've been thinking of that, like, damn, maybe I should really push the producer thing. Maybe I should really, like I said, I've been watching a lot of, like, these YouTube producers and shit where they do, like, the YouTube videos while they're making beats. And I used to kind of do those a little bit back in the day, and I wasn't nearly as good as I am now at making beats. So, yeah, I was watching these kids do it, and I was like, oh, maybe I start doing, like, some beat making videos and shit to just hype up that side, the producer side of me. And selling beats, that's what, like, these kids are fucking making a living off of, man. Selling these beats on YouTube or BeatStars or wherever their their beat store is. It's like, it's such a crazy hustle that these kids are just making beats, uploading them every week, and people are buying them and they're making good money off of it. And so I thought about that. I've thought about it before, actually. And the biggest thing that holds me back, which, like, might sound like fucking arrogant, I guess, or whatever, I don't want to make a beat for an artist I don't think is good. Like, I don't want to have my name attached to something that I can't like to a song that I don't think is good or I can't co-sign. Like, that's hard for me to, like, have a song that's, like, produced by Domes Gage, and then I listen or whatever, and it's like, I don't know about this. Is just like some kid who bought the beat and he's not really got it down yet or whatever. And so that's held me back, where I was like, man, it waters down the brand a little bit to have, like, my name on something that I don't think is up to my standards. So that's why I haven't just been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just start selling beats to any and anybody, to, what is the fucking saying? I don't know, whatever. To anybody who wants them, you know? It's like they have to be somebody I actually want to give the beat to. But I started thinking, like, what if I went rogue? What if I went, like, alter ego with the producers? Like, Mac Miller, R.I.P., he had what was his producer name? Larry Fisherman. Like, he had a whole alter ego just to make beats under. So it was like Mac Miller produced by Larry Fisherman. It wasn't Mac Miller produced by Mac Miller. And so I started to think that, like, damn, maybe I'll come up with this alter ego to try and sell beats and shit. Except that would, like, hurt my whole, like, YouTube channel. Like, if I was going to try and do the beat making videos, and it kind of just doesn't correlate unless I had, like, maybe a production company. That's something me and Ryan have talked about, where it's like a name, you know, that we can just brand everything with. This is blah 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 productions, you know. So I'll look into it. I do have certain, like, you know, kids that hit me up on, like, Instagram and Facebook and say, hey, you know, your beats are good, or I like your songs. Do you have beats for sale? And I've always been like, no, I don't really sell the beats. I just make them for myself. And yeah, lately, because I've been making so much of them, and I've just been really just like I said, watching a lot of producer stuff on YouTube and just really delving into that side. Because I got to be the best I can be at everything, you know. I was just watching an interview with somebody, and they said the same shit that I said a minute ago, where it was like, man, if you don't have anybody that's doing it for you and you can't afford to do it, you better learn how to do this shit. Because if you don't, it's never going to get done, or it's not going to get done in the timely fashion that you want, you know? Like, if I was hiring somebody to edit my videos, who knows when they would get that shit done? Like, hiring somebody to mix and master my music, who knows when they're going to get that shit done? Because they have other shit they're working on. They're not making it, like, first priority as the person who's actually making the music in the first place. And me, I'm like, I could put it out the same day, but if I was sending it out to somebody else, it would be this whole process. How far are we? 54 minutes, and I can feel my voice leaving my body. Like, I can feel I'm losing my voice as I'm talking. We're rounding off this episode. Yep. We'll try and keep it under an hour. I don't think I have much else to add to that. Let me know if there's any artists out there that would like me to sell beats. I don't know. Or any artist that I've talked to personally about making music before, holla at me. Like, I got so much shit that I'm ready to, like, I'll pull up. Well, I guess if you're in Vegas, I'll pull up. If not, I'll figure something else out. Don't answer that. Okay. And I don't think I have any questions. I was going to answer questions and finish this episode off, but I actually don't think I have any. I think Hot Dog Kisser slacked on the questions this week, guys. Leave a comment and be like, what the fuck, Hot Dog Kisser? You're supposed to be part of the podcast. Every week you're part of the show. No, I know what it was. He was like, Dome's ain't about to do another episode. He slacked for a whole fucking month. No way he's doing another episode on Monday. So I'm not even asking him questions because I know he's not about to fucking get to him. So I understand, Hot Dog Kisser. It's fine. But leave questions for next episode on this one. I did want to just double check. Damn, people are calling me. I don't know who that is. Fuck. I'll pull it up on YouTube, I guess. It's going to be real loud. It's going to be in my headphones super fucking loud. I don't know how to change that. Stop calling me. I just want to go to YouTube. Do. Lots of podcasts are coming out today. I got a lot of shit to watch. So that hypes me up too when I see all these podcasts coming out that I listen to. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's Monday. All the podcasts come out. I got to fucking get mine done. And I was really trying to get it done yesterday, so I could have dropped it bright and early. But as long as it's Monday, and as long as I don't take fucking a month off in between episodes, we're doing all right. Okay. Yeah, Hot Dog Kisser slacked on me, bruh. It's all good. I know he's watching this episode right now like, oh, fuck, I forgot to send him. It's all love, bro. Rhea asked a question, so we'll answer that, I suppose. Or I'll try to answer it. And if you're watching this episode, if you've made it this far, leave me questions to answer next week. I will be back next week, and I will be answering your guys' questions. I like to do that every episode. It gives me a little bit more extra content, and I mean, I guess I could just be like, fuck it, peace out, it's over. We did make it almost an hour, but the questions are a nice touch. It involves you guys in the podcast, and I like answering them. So, Rhea asks, what is the one thing every song must have for it to be solid? That's a really interesting question. Cowbell? No. Needs more cowbell. I don't know. What's the one thing a song needs to be solid? That's such a, like, I don't know that there is a one thing. Like I said earlier in the episode, I make so many different sounds and styles that, like, if I was just making, if I was making one specific style of a song, like one tempo or whatever, then maybe there would be something that I'm like, you know, you need It's a hard question to answer, honestly. I don't know that there's one specific thing that's like, okay, the song's good. Catchy melody. I don't know, catchy melody for a hook and fucking wordy verses. That's kind of my style. Catchy melodies are important these days for sure, though. That's like the shit that's getting stuck in people's heads, you know. The verses aren't necessarily the things that are getting stuck in people's heads. It's the melodies and shit. So catchy melodies, one, a good beat. You know, you need a good beat. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve, or, you know, I don't know why I keep saying pet peeve. I don't feel like I ever say that. And today I've said it like 3 times in this podcast. But yeah, when I hear like an artist I like and the beat is just so bad, and I'm like, oh, this song would actually been good if the beat wasn't absolutely terrible. So a good beat, and a good mix, or a decent mix. Doesn't have to be the best mix, but a decent mix. Music that's just too fucking rough, like that, like sounds like it was recorded off your fucking iPhone voice memo or something. Like anything like that that's just too rough is hard for me to listen to. Unless you're just trying to go lo-fi or whatever the new kids are doing these days. But yeah, I don't know. Cowbell. That's what I thought. I haven't seen that fucking SNL skit in forever, so I don't know if that's what you're referencing. Like, I remember somebody asked me something, and it was like an Outkast lyric, and I didn't catch it at all. And then my sister was like, it's an Outkast lyric, right? And I was like, oh, no, I didn't. I thought he was asking me a genuine question. So, anyway, guys, we'll wrap it up right here. We just passed an hour. We made it. Episode 21 of Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge. It's good to be back, guys. It's good to be back. I will be back next week. Make sure to leave your questions so I can answer them next week. Yeah, don't have any surprise videos dropping. I'm not keeping any secrets right now, but I am working on a lot, so we'll see what happens. I actually do plan to film something soon, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in once again. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos, leave a comment, let me know you're happy that the podcast is back. Listen on Spotify, listen on Apple, listen on wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm pretty sure my podcast is there. So yeah. Anything to add, Buck? I don't think so. I think Buck's just happy we're back. Buck's happy we're back. He likes the camera. He's conceited. No. All right, guys. Yeah. We'll be back for another episode next week. That's it. That's all I got to say. I'm signing out. Peace.